keep them to yes and no questions only. Anybody want to start?
Starting us off, Rick. Go ahead. So obviously, this fight is your last fight. Is there more pressure regarding this being your last fight, or is it just another fight to you?
You know, honestly, I probably should give more thought to it being my last fight than I do, just because it is going to be the last time. Really, the only thing that I think of when I think of it, oh, this is my last fight, is when I have to do my cardio or get on my Versa climber. I think that after this camp, I don't ever have to do that thing again. So I'm thankful for that, but you know, honestly, I'm not emotional. I'm not anything about it. It's just another fight camp, and I'm focusing on doing what I need to do to win the fight.
You went on record to say that Michael has improved as a fighter. How have you improved as a fighter since the last time you guys fought?
I don't know, just here and there, just every day try to learn things and improve. And you know, I think over the years, I wouldn't have been able to compete at the level I've competed on if I haven't improved, because the sport has evolved and it's still evolving, and everybody is getting better every year. So, you know, it's hard to say where exactly I've improved. Overall, I think striking, my wrestling for MMA, and you know, my grappling is all improved. But you know, I don't know what's improved the most. It's hard to say.
We've seen on social media that Mike has been filming a movie in England. Do you feel like he's not taking you seriously, or that he's, I guess, not focused?
I don't really care, to say it nicely. You know, I'm expecting the best Michael Bisping there is. If he doesn't bring it, you know, it's unfortunate for the fans, and you know, I wouldn't mind fighting the best guy, the best Michael Bisping out there, and beating him. You know, but hopefully he brings that, and you know, he's usually in shape for every fight. So, you know, I can't think differently. You know, I'm not going to go in there just because he's doing this and I can take it easy today in practice. Michael Bisping's filming a movie. You know, I don't have any idea what he's doing for training. He might be getting the best training of his life on set. Who knows? You know, but honestly, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. You fix that title shot different than the others that you had. This is a premium for your entire career. Do you face that title shot like a premium for your career?
No, I mean, I've had title shots before, but you know, I know that for whatever reason, you know, if I didn't do well in them, especially in the UFC title shots I've had, yeah, I want to make sure that I make the most of this opportunity and win this fight. And that's the only added thing to this, is making sure that I do everything I need to do in training to be prepared. But at the same time, I don't stress out over it. You know, I know that I need to take time off here and there and let my body recover sometimes and have to back off of training, and that's part of experience and knowing your body. And you know, I feel like over the years I've been able to learn how to do that pretty well.
Then I see you hurt it. This shows how hard you are training.
What's that?
I see you hurt it.
Up
Is
there?
it all?
Yeah, just a little scrape from sparring. You know, it's I don't even notice. It happens every training camp. I get cuts and bruises, and you know, it's just part of the job.
Hey, then 7 years is passing to one fight against, obviously, a lot more experience and a lot more muscle on the guy. Do you expect that your strategy that worked last time will work this time, or are you going to change it? If you are, what the change is going to be?
You know, he's a similar fighter than what he was, and I'm similar to how I was. You know, obviously, he might make adjustments, and I'm going to, you know, kind of make adjustments. But I think overall the strategy on both parts will be similar. You know, I'm sure that he's going to try not to get knocked out this time, and I'm going to try to knock him out again. But you know, I'm just going to make sure that I'm able to go 5 rounds. If I'm in shape to go 5 rounds, there's no way he's beating me.
Okay, obviously his experience counts a lot. He showed it against Rockhold the way he did him. So does make you more conscious of what he's improved.
You know, I hope that, you know, he really gets overconfident with, you know, because he knocked out Rocco the way he did, and I hope he gets aggressive with me because I want him to come forward. You know, he moves well and you know backs up a lot and moves side to side well, but I like it when they come at me.
And your last fight, you had that big win against Hector in LA. The crowd was on your side. It was a great moment. How much did you think about hanging it up then before this opportunity presented itself to you?
Well, I think before that fight, I made it known that that possibly could have been the
Right.
last fight, and you know the night of the fight, I still had the same mentality that that might be the last fight, and even a week or so after that fight, you know, I was gonna see what my options were as far as maybe being employed by the UFC outside of the octagon, and you know that they let us know that they were interested in putting this fight together because of the overwhelming, you know, asking from the fans for this fight. So, you know, obviously I couldn't turn down a title fight, and you know, so I was ready at the last fight to be done, but you know, my body can easily go another 4 or 5 years if I really wanted it to. But like I said, my versiclemor is a piece of
Pain.
Do you
I
think
don't like
you'll be working for the UFC in the future once you retire?
you know, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens, and you know, it's one of those things that I would like to be involved in the sport, and I will be involved at some way or another in MMA, and I'd love to help it grow worldwide, just like it has been. So,
Yeah, your body's still working. You said you couldn't turn down a title fight. How could you possibly turn down a title defense?
well, yeah, I guess eventually I got to say I'm done, and you know, really there could be no better ending to finish on top, and you know, I definitely have put my years in, and you know, after 20 years, haven't you seen enough of me already?
What is the magic number that would bring you back? You said for the right amount you could come back. What is the,
Yeah,
what's the magic number?
I guess everybody has a price. Who knows? You know, I'm not even going to entertain that right now. It's one of those things that if they really, really have to have me back, I don't see why they would. But if they really had to, I'm sure they could make me smile somehow enough to consider it.
If you are to win the belt, where would that rank as far as your accomplishments in the sport?
You know, obviously, it's the last goal I've set for myself in the sport, and yeah, I don't know. It's definitely going to rank right up there, especially in today's MMA life or worldwide. UFC is definitely the premier organization. You know, so it'll rank right up there at the top. You know, when I had won the Pride belts, you know, it was always debatable what was better, Pride or UFC. And both of them were tough, and you know, but there's no question right now. And having that UFC belt is definitely considered the top dog in the sport.
And how are you preparing your body for the time change as far as showing up to the UK? When are you arriving, and how will you prepare your body to have a fight possibly at 5 a.m.?
Well, the good thing is, you know, the fight will be at 9. My fight will be around 9 p.m. here, so I'm gonna hopefully not adjust at all and stay on California time. And, you know, it all depends on, you know, the people over there in the UK UFC office, and hopefully they schedule all our media obligations later in the day so we can sleep all day and do media at night, and then early in the morning train. You know, I'm sure I'll be doing that for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I get there.
And then in the last part, you were with your son beside you, you know,
Yep.
and he was watching you, and you got so emotional in the end. What he said about fighting for the title shot now, what he said to you.
You know, obviously they're excited that I have this opportunity. They're kind of bummed that they're not going to make the trip over to the UK because they have school, and you know, it's just a little bit. I got 4 kids, a little tough to take them all. I can't just take one of them, so you know they're all or none, and it'd be a little bit of a handful for me to get them over there. So they'll be watching on TV live, and you know, we'll come back and celebrate the victory with them after. But they're excited.
This being a guy that we know likes to promote fights, and he's been saying some things about you, calling you a cheater, things like that. Does that upset you? Does that bother you at all? How do you feel about that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't care what he says. It doesn't matter to me. I know in my mind how I am, and you know how I've been throughout the years, and you know, I've never tested positive for anything. I think somebody told me in the interview on the way here that I've been tested more than anybody, you know, according to USADA so far. So, you know, obviously, I have no problem with that. I'm the one guy that's probably been asking for this type of drug testing for probably 5 or 6 years before they started it. You know, because I came off of wrestling and Olympic committee and Olympic teams that were subjected to this type of drug testing, and I think it's great to have no advance notice and you can be tested at any time, and that alleviates all the guesswork on if I'm gonna, you know, who's cheating and who's not, you know, as long as they're getting tested here and there, you know. Some of the guys are rolling the dice and getting caught, but you know, I think it's great for the sport. It's great for the UFC. I would love for the whole sport to adopt USADA to do it as well, but I'm glad the UFC pulled the trigger and started doing it.
Do you think when he says that stuff, he's just talking, just promoting, or do you think he actually means what he says?
Yeah, I don't know. And, you know, I think he's a little bit naive about certain things, but you know, I was taking TRT when it was legal, and really wasn't taking much. I mean, that's why I think it's funny. I think his body's changed more since we fought the first time than mine has. You know, like he looks a lot bigger and a lot different now than he did then. And I look about the same, except for maybe a little grayer here and there. So, you know, I don't really. It doesn't matter to me what he thinks. You know, it matters to me what I know inside, and you know, I'm who I am based on what I've done and what I don't do, and I'm, you know, I'm completely content with who I am.
Since you've competed in both the Olympics and the UFC, how do the drug testing compare?
It's the same. Yeah, it's honestly, I think it's USADA was doing some of the drug. USADA and WADA both do the drug testing for the Olympics, and I think in the States was mostly USADA, so it was honestly identical.
You talked about goals that you've had, and the UFC belt obviously being the pinnacle of the goals. Are there any other goals that you set for yourself in the sport that you haven't accomplished yet?
No, not really. You know, I think it's been a long time since I've been undefeated, so that one went away a long time ago. But you know, honestly, no, there's no other goals that I've set for myself that I haven't achieved except for this one.
I was just curious, post-fight, you know, once you've retired and it doesn't matter anymore, do you think you'll return to using TRT? I mean, there's obviously some medical advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably. You know, that's what the doctors recommended for me for various reasons. And honestly, I wasn't barely taking any. I was just keep my body within normal limits. And, you know, body felt a little better back then, but obviously I'm still able to compete without it. I was competing before I started that and for who knows how long. So yeah, it's probably definitely something I'll go back to.
And what do you foresee your training regime being after you retire? I mean, are you going to hit the gym a few times a week still, or just take some time off?
It all depends on who I got coming up with fights that have fights coming up. So, you know, the more times my guys have fights coming up, the better shape I'll keep myself in. You know, I'm not planning on going every round with them, but one round on, one round off is a good goal to set, you know, with them. But, you know, I'll still be there for them to get them in shape and they use them to keep in shape myself.
You mentioned celebrating with your family. What's the big event you're going to do to celebrate with them?
I don't know. Every year I usually do a pig roast Labor Day weekend, and I postponed it for after the fight. So when we get back, we're going to have that. There's usually about 300 people there at my house.
Oh, wow. Are you doing all the cooking?
Yeah, I cook the 220-pound pig usually about rotisserie on a rotisserie.
Dan, if you were to get
Every bit of it's gone every year.
Did you hunt it? Do you hunt yourself?
No, I go down to the local butcher and I pick one out. Smack it on the ass. Tell him you look good.
Dan, winning the title against Mike Bisping, would that be an extra satisfying, being that it's him that you're winning the UFC title from?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't dislike him. It's not like I hate him or anything like that. I think he's a good fighter, and he's improved a lot, and has done a lot more in the sport since the first time I fought him. So I think because he's done that much since then, it'll be a satisfying win. But I don't think it has anything to do with me liking him or not liking him. I don't dislike him. I just don't really like him either.
Dan, you got UFC 100 was one of the most iconic knockouts in MMA. Can you describe for us how that feels when you hit someone that well and that clean and flatten like that?
I don't know. Come here, I'll show you.
I want to tell you how it
It's
feels. I want you to tell us how it feels.
It's hard to describe. I don't know.
You won't feel a thing.
I guess a lot of people would say it's like, when you connect with a ball, hitting it with a bat. And, you connect quite often, but, every once in a while you feel how easy and clean it was. And, it's similar to that, I guess. And that just happened to be kind of like the UFC's World Series of events that they've ever had. And, it did pretty well. It went pretty far.
Like a sweet spot.
Yeah. So it felt good.
You've said before that the fans pretty much tell you every day how much they enjoyed that moment. Why do you think it resonated the way it did and still does?
I think he just came off as a guy that people wanted to see knocked out, beat up, his mouth shut. Just he talked a lot, and a lot of arrogance and cockiness, and sometimes people don't like that.
When you look back then, is there anyone that you haven't fought that you say, I wish I would have fought that guy? Anyone like that?
I think maybe because it's the end of my career, I've been asked that the last couple of weeks a lot. And the only one that really, John Jones, I trained to fight him. I was ready to fight him and got hurt and didn't get a chance to really test myself against him. And that would have been a fun moment for me to be able to see how I do against John Jones. Because he's since then done even better. He screwed up a lot more too, but he's still one of arguably the best pound guys out there.
So if you visiting next month and the UFC said I'm going to give you John Jones next,
No.
What do you say? No.
No. No, I mean, it's over the years it's gotten harder to keep my body in the shape I need to, and I think that's why I gravitated back down to middleweight, just because it's hard to go against the heavier guys, and having DC's fat ass on top of me didn't help. I was already thinking about it at that point, but yeah, when he was on top of me, I needed to decide to go down the show.
All right, thanks guys. Dan's going to do a short workout now.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Really short.